You have been given only fragments of the truth, taught to manifest through wanting, when in reality, true creation flows from being. This audiobook unveils the missing key that has kept your desires at a distance. The universe does not respond to your requests. It mirrors your state of being. Awaken now and step beyond attraction into effortless creation. The Scholar's Key. Introduction. Within these sacred chapters lies a truth so potent, so transformative, that it has remained veiled from the masses for millennia. The knowledge you are about to receive transcends the superficial understanding of manifestation that has spread through the modern world like a gentle breeze, leaving only ripples where tsunamis of change should rise. You have been taught to wish, to hope, to visualize and affirm, yet your desires remain distant stars, twinkling with promise, but forever beyond your grasp. This is not because you lack faith or dedication. It is because you have been given a map with its most crucial territory deliberately obscured. The ancient masters knew that true power does not lie in the asking, but in the becoming. They understood that reality does not respond to requests, it yields to resonance. The universe does not grant wishes, it reflects essence. This is the Scholar's Key, the forgotten cornerstone of creation that transforms struggling seekers into effortless creators. What you hold now is not merely another book of techniques or practices. It is a transmission of power that has been preserved through the ages, passed down through whispered conversations in hidden temples, and encoded in texts that few have truly understood. This wisdom reveals why your past attempts at manifestation have fallen short, and more importantly, how to transcend the very need for manifestation itself. The path before you leads beyond the realm of attraction and into the domain of pure creation, where reality shapes itself around your being rather than your doing. Here, in this sacred space of transformation, you will discover why every technique you've learned has been but a shadow of true power. You stand at the threshold of a truth that will shatter your understanding of reality and rebuild it into something far more magnificent. This is not about learning new methods. It is about awakening to what you have always been. Part 1. Awakening the Scholar Within. Chapter 1. The Mirage of Manifestation. Why your desires remain unfulfilled. In the quiet mountains of a distant land, there lived a merchant named Simon, who dedicated his life to mastering the art of manifestation. His chambers overflowed with vision boards depicting wealth and success. His voice grew hoarse from endless affirmations. His journals bulged with carefully scripted scenarios of his desired future. Yet year after year, his reality remained unchanged, like a stubborn mirror reflecting back the same image despite his attempts to paint a different picture. You see, Simon embodied the fundamental misunderstanding that keeps countless souls trapped in cycles of unfulfillment. He lived in perpetual wanting, and in doing so, became the very essence of lack. The universal law responds not to what you desire, but to what you are. As long as you remain in the state of one who seeks, you shall forever be seeking. The Scholar's Key, hidden within the ancient texts, reveals this simple yet transformative truth. The law does not grant wishes to those who ask. It reflects the nature of those who have become. Your outer world materializes not from your requests but from your resonance. Consider the tale of Helen, a woman who once walked the same path as Simon. Her shelves too groaned under the weight of manifestation journals and spiritual texts. But one morning, as she sat beneath an old oak tree, wisdom descended upon her like golden leaves in autumn. She realized that all her techniques were keeping her bound to the identity of one who lacks, one who needs, one who must try to attract. At that moment, Helen ceased her striving. She understood that her desired reality wasn't something to attract, it was something to embody. She stopped speaking of what she wanted and began living as though she already was. The shift was subtle yet absolute. Within months, opportunities flowed to her naturally, as water flowed downhill. Her business flourished, her relationships deepened, and abundance surrounded her. Not because she had attracted it, but because she had become it. Now, close your eyes and enter into this sacred practice of revelation. Breathe deeply and observe your current state of being. Notice how your desires feel distant, something to be achieved rather than expressed. Feel how your very identity is structured around wanting, seeking, trying to attract. This awareness is the first key to liberation. For in seeing how your current identity perpetuates lack, you begin to understand why manifestation has remained elusive. The power to create was never about learning new techniques. It was about unlearning the habit of separation from your desires. Chapter 2. The Hidden Key, What Masters Know That Others Do Not. In the dimly lit corners of an ancestral library, Nathan discovered a leather-bound manuscript, its chapters yellowed with time but vibrating with timeless wisdom. As you now hold these sacred teachings, know that they mirror the same truth Nathan uncovered that fateful evening. You do not get what you want. You get what you are. This principle lies at the heart of all creation. The universe responds not to your wishes, but to your essence. When you understand this truth, all techniques fall away like autumn leaves, revealing the bare truth of manifestation. Your outer world must, by universal law, reflect your inner state of being. Think of Margaret, a painter who dreamed of recognition in the art world. For years, she followed every manifestation practice she could find, filling her studio with affirmations and vision boards of gallery openings. Yet success remained elusive until the day she made a subtle but powerful shift. One morning, as she stood before her easel, something changed within her. Instead of painting with hope for future recognition, she began creating from a place of already being the acclaimed artist she wished to become. She stopped introducing herself as an aspiring artist and simply became an artist. Her brushstrokes flowed with quiet confidence, her choices in galleries became selective, and her conversations with collectors carried the natural authority of one who knows their worth. Within months, Margaret's reality transformed. Gallery owners who once ignored her work now sought her out. Critics who had passed her by now praised her unique vision. Her success appeared magical to others, but Margaret understood the truth. She had not attracted success, she had become success itself. This wisdom echoes through the ages, whispered by those who mastered the art of reality creation. They knew that manifestation is not about attracting what you want. It is about embodying what you are. The ancient mystics, the modern masters, all operated from this singular truth. They did not wish for abundance. They became abundance. They did not attract success. They became success. Now close your eyes and enter into this sacred practice. Breathe deeply and allow your awareness to settle into your body. Feel the weight of your physical form, the rhythm of your breath. Imagine your desired reality not as a future possibility, but as your present moment. If wealth is your desire, feel the natural ease with which you move through life as a wealthy person. If it's love you seek, feel the warmth of complete love flowing through your being right now. Don't reach for these feelings, become them. Let every cell of your body vibrate with the knowledge that you are, in this moment, everything you wish to be. Chapter 3. The universe does not hear words, only being. In these sacred chapters, you now encounter a truth that transcends mere words. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, responds not to the sounds that leave your lips, but to the essence that emanates from your being. Michael's story mirrors what many have discovered on their path to mastery. Each morning, he would stand before his mirror, repeating carefully crafted affirmations. I am wealthy, I am successful, I am loved. His words echoed against the bathroom tiles, yet his bank account remained unchanged, his career stagnant, his relationships unfulfilling. Like countless others, he had been taught that words held magical power, that speaking his desires would command the universe to deliver them. But the universe operates through resonance, not through sound. It mirrors what you are, not what you say. When your words declare abundance while your being vibrates with lack, the universe can only reflect the truth of your inner state. Enter Evelyn, whose transformation reveals the essence of true manifestation. After years of speaking affirmations without results, she discovered an ancient teaching. Silence holds more power than speech. In her garden one autumn morning, she ceased all verbal declarations. Instead, she allowed herself to sink into the feeling of already being who she wished to become. Each day, Evelyn would sit in perfect silence, breathing in the essence of her desired reality. She didn't speak of success. She became it. She didn't affirm abundance. She embodied it. Her presence began to shift, not through force or repetition, but through the natural alignment of her inner state with her desired reality. Within weeks, opportunities began flowing to her without effort. Colleagues noticed a change in her presence. Business proposals arrived unsolicited. Her relationships deepened without discussion. The universe responded not to her silence, but to her state of being. Practice the silent knowing. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and release all need for words. Breathe deeply and allow yourself to sink into the feeling of already being who you wish to become. Don't speak it, don't affirm it, simply be it. Let this state of being fill every cell of your body. Remain in this silence for 10 minutes, knowing that your inner state speaks louder than any words ever could. Chapter 4. The Silent Architect, the Force that Shapes Your Reality. Within these sacred chapters lies a truth that has eluded even the most dedicated seekers. Your visible world is but a shadow of an invisible force that shapes all circumstances before they manifest. In the bustling city streets, David rushed from one crisis to another, convinced that life was happening to him. Each morning brought new challenges, unexpected bills, difficult clients, strained relationships. He saw himself as a victim of circumstance, forever at the mercy of external events that seemed to control his destiny. Yet what David could not perceive was the silent architect within, his own subconscious state, carefully crafting each experience long before it materialized in his world. Like a master builder working in the dark, this unseen force was constructing his reality according to the blueprint of his inner being. You see, the world you experience is not random, nor is it thrust upon you by fate. It is a precise reflection of your subconscious state, operating with perfect precision to manifest exactly what you hold within. This is not about your thoughts or wishes, but about the deep, often unrecognized state of being that forms the foundation of your existence. Clara discovered this truth during a period of financial hardship, while others around her frantically chased solutions through external actions. She turned her attention inward. There, in the quiet depths of her being, she found a state of perpetual uncertainty, a subtle vibration of scarcity that had been invisibly directing her financial reality. Instead of fighting external circumstances, Clara devoted herself to cultivating an inner state of abundance and stability. She did not change her actions at first, but rather her way of being. Each morning, before engaging with the world, she would sink into a state of unwavering security, allowing this new foundation to become her dominant reality. Gradually, without conscious effort, her external world began to shift. Business opportunities appeared naturally, debts resolved themselves in unexpected ways, and financial stability became her new normal. The silent architect had received new blueprints, and reality reshaped itself accordingly. Practice unveiling the silent architect. Take your journal and answer these questions with complete honesty. What state of being do I most frequently occupy when alone?
How does my body feel when I think about money, love, health?
What underlying emotion colors most of my daily experiences? Let your hand write freely, allowing the silent architect within to reveal itself through your words. This is not about judgment, but about witnessing the current blueprint from which your reality is being built. Chapter 5. The Law Before the Law, the Supreme Principle of Creation. Before you lie a truth so fundamental, it precedes all other spiritual laws. This truth was not created, nor can it be changed. It simply is. Like gravity, it operates whether you acknowledge it or not, shaping every aspect of your existence with unwavering precision. In a dimly lit archive, Jonathan discovered manuscripts that spoke of this supreme law. As his eyes moved across the ancient text, recognition dawned, not from the words themselves, but from a deeper knowing that had always existed within him. The manuscripts merely confirmed what his soul had always known. Before attraction, before manifestation, before all spiritual techniques, there exists a law so pure it requires nothing from you. This law states, you are already that which you seek to become. All transformation is not a journey toward something new, but a recognition of what already is. The universe does not grant wishes or respond to prayers. It simply reflects the truth of your being back to you with perfect accuracy. Dorothy lived unaware of this law, yet it shaped her life with remarkable precision. While others around her struggled with complex manifestation techniques, she naturally embodied a simple truth. When she needed strength, she did not try to become strong. She simply recognized the strength that was already there. When she desired abundance, she did not attempt to attract it. She allowed herself to feel the abundance that already existed within her being. One day, Dorothy noticed that her life had transformed, yet she had not performed a single ritual or recited any affirmations. Her reality had shifted simply because she had aligned with what was already present within her. She had not created anything new. She had merely unveiled what had always been there. This supreme law renders all techniques secondary, for they are but shadows of this primary truth. You need not attract what you already are. You need not manifest what is already present. You need not become what you have always been. The practice of recognition. Find a quiet space and close your eyes. Without effort or strain, observe how this law is already operating in your life. Notice how every circumstance, every relationship, every experience has been a perfect reflection of your inner state of being. Do not judge or analyze, simply observe. In this gentle observation lies the key to all transformation. As you sit in stillness, allow your awareness to drift through the corridors of your recent experiences. See how your moments of confidence attracted confident outcomes. Remember times when your heart was filled with love and love flowed back to you from unexpected sources. Even in challenging times, recognize how your inner doubts or fears were mirrored in external events. This is not to place blame, but to awaken you to your innate power. Let your breath flow naturally as you witness these patterns. You need not change anything in this moment. Your role is simply that of the conscious observer, watching the divine dance between your inner world and its outer manifestation. In this sacred space of recognition, transformation occurs effortlessly, for what is truly seen begins to shift of its own accord. Chapter 6. You do not attract, you emerge as your desire. In the depths of ancient wisdom lies a truth that shatters all modern manifestation teachings. You cannot attract what you already are. This revelation unveils why so many spend years trying to draw wealth toward them, while remaining perpetually distant from their desires. Rose exemplified this struggle perfectly. Each morning, She would visualize money flowing to her, repeat abundance affirmations, and focus intently on attracting wealth. Yet the more she reached for it, the further it seemed to drift away. What she failed to understand was that wealth, like all states of being, cannot be attracted from without. It must emerge from within. The universe operates not through attraction but through recognition and emergence. When you attempt to attract something, you unconsciously affirm its absence. You position yourself as separate from your desire, creating an unbridgeable gap between where you are and where you wish to be. This very positioning ensures your desire remains forever out of reach. Walter's story illuminates this truth with striking clarity. As a small business owner, he never consciously practiced manifestation techniques. Instead, without realizing it, he simply began operating from a state of success. He walked differently. He spoke differently. He made decisions, not from where he was, but from where he knew himself to be. His actual circumstances hadn't changed yet, but his inner state had shifted completely. When others saw struggle, Walter saw opportunity. When others felt lack, he felt abundance, not through forced positive thinking, but through a natural emergence of his true state. His outer world had no choice but to reshape itself to match his inner knowing. The secret lies not in attraction, but in emergence. Everything you desire already exists within you as a potential state of being. Your task is not to attract it, but to allow it to emerge. This emergence happens naturally when you cease trying to attract and instead recognize what is already present. The practice of emergence. Take your journal and write a day in your life, not as you wish it to be, but as it already is in your deepest knowledge. Write in present tense, describing your experiences, thoughts, and feelings from this state of being. Do not write about what you want to happen. Write about what is happening now, from the perspective of your realized self. This is not an exercise in imagination, but in recognition. Let your hand move across the page naturally, allowing your true state to emerge through your words. Write until you feel a shift from wanting to being, from seeking to knowing. The words themselves are not important. What matters is the state from which they flow. Write until you feel the reality of your words, until you recognize that what you're writing is not a future possibility, but a present truth. Chapter 7. The Power of Assumption. Reality bends to your conviction. In the depths of ancient wisdom lies a truth so potent it has remained hidden from those who seek external validation. Assumption is not the result of reality, it is its cause. This truth shatters the common belief that you must wait for evidence before embracing your desired state. Henry stood at his window each morning, scanning the horizon for signs that his life was changing. He had read countless books on manifestation, yet remained trapped in the cycle of waiting. "When I see it, I'll believe it," he would say, unaware that this very attitude ensured his desires would forever remain just beyond his grasp. The universe does not respond to hope or wishes. It responds only to the unwavering certainty of assumption. When you assume a state, you are not pretending. You are stepping into a reality that already exists within the infinite field of possibility. This assumption, held with the naturalness of breathing, becomes the bridge between the invisible and the visible. Lillian discovered this truth through what appeared to be chance. After years of seeking love, she grew weary of searching and simply began living as though love was already her reality. She stopped looking for it, stopped trying to attract it, and instead assumed it as naturally as she assumed the sun would rise each morning. She walked through her days feeling cherished not because someone was showing her love, but because she had stepped into the state of being loved. She responded to others from this state, made decisions from this state, and lived from this state. Within weeks, her relationships transformed, not through any external effort, but through the natural expression of her assumed reality. The power of assumption lies not in forcing yourself to believe something, but in recognizing that what you seek already exists in the realm of infinite possibility. Your assumption simply selects which reality you experience. This is not positive thinking, it is the activation of a state that already exists. The ancient practice of living from the end. Each morning upon waking, before your feet touch the ground, assume the feeling of your desire fulfilled. Feel the naturalness of it being true right now. As you move through your day, let every action spring from this assumption. When you dress as someone who is what you desire to be. When you speak from that state. When you make decisions, make them from that state. Do not wait for proof. Be the proof. This is not pretense. It is the activation of a reality that already exists within the infinite field of all possibility. This practice is not about convincing yourself of something. It is about stepping into a state that is already available to you. Let your assumption be as natural as assuming gravity will keep you grounded. For in truth, the reality you seek is no less natural than the laws that govern the physical world. Chapter 8, The Scholar's Test, Breaking the Spell of Old Patterns. In the moment of transformation, there comes a test, one that separates those who merely wish from those who truly become. You have learned of states, of assumption, of the power that lies within, yet now you face the Scholar's Test, the sacred threshold where your old self and new self meet. Louis stood at this crossroads one winter morning. For months he had glimpsed his greater self, tasted moments of true power. Yet each time reality presented him with a choice, he retreated to familiar ground. His business remained small, his relationships unchanged, his life a testament to hesitation. Then came the moment that all masters face when the universe demands complete surrender to the new state. A significant contract lay before him, one that would require him to fully embody the successful entrepreneur he claimed to be. His old self whispered of safety, of staying small, of waiting until he felt more prepared. The Scholar's Test is not about readiness, it is about commitment. When you stand at this threshold, the universe asks not if you are prepared, but if you are willing. Your old identity will present compelling reasons to retreat. It will remind you of past failures, of comfortable limitations, of sensible boundaries. Eleanor understood this when her moment arrived. After years of living as a struggling artist, she received an invitation to showcase her work at a prestigious gallery. Her old self emerged with familiar doubts. She wasn't ready. Her work wasn't good enough. She should wait for a smaller opportunity. But Eleanor recognized this moment for what it was, the universe demanding her complete commitment to her new identity. Instead of shrinking back, she stepped fully into the state of being an accomplished artist. She signed the contract, began creating from this new state, and moved through her days as though success was already hers. The Scholar's Test appears differently for each seeker, but its essence remains the same. Will you commit fully to your new state when reality demands it? Will you stand firm when circumstances challenge your assumption? Will you reject the comfortable whispers of your old identity? The ancient practice of complete commitment. Take a blank page and write these words. I, your name, hereby release all former limitations and step fully into your desired state. I recognize that this moment demands my complete commitment. I choose to live, breathe, and move as this new self, regardless of external circumstances. I understand that retreat is no longer an option. I am this now. Sign this declaration and keep it where you will see it daily. This is not a promise about the future, it is a recognition of what is already true. Chapter 9, The Temple of Inner Knowing, How to Create Certainty. In the depths of ancient wisdom lies a truth so potent it has been guarded through generations. Certainty precedes manifestation. You have been taught to seek proof before believing, to demand evidence before accepting. Yet this very approach has kept you bound to the old reality you wish to transcend. The power you seek does not arise from gathering evidence. It emerges from an unshakable knowing that exists prior to all physical proof. This knowledge is not built upon the shifting sands of external validation, but upon the bedrock of inner conviction. When you truly know something, you do not seek confirmation. You do not require others to validate your certainty. You simply know, as surely as you know the sun will rise, as deeply as you know your own name. This state of knowing transcends belief. It is the foundation from which all manifestation springs. Consider Charles, a humble teacher who discovered this truth through an unexpected turn of events. His small town faced a devastating drought that threatened to destroy the local farming community. While others prayed for rain and consulted weather forecasts, Charles touched something deeper within himself, an absolute knowing that provision would come. He did not hope, he did not wish, he did not even pray in the conventional sense. Instead, he walked the parched fields each morning in complete certainty, feeling the moisture in the soil that had not yet appeared. He spoke to farmers not with empty reassurance, but with the calm authority of one who sees beyond the visible. Within days, clouds gathered where there had been none. Within a week, rain fell in gentle abundance, transforming the withered landscape into vibrant fields of green. The meteorologists called it unexpected, the farmers called it a miracle. But Charles understood. He had not attracted the rain. His certainty had allowed what was already ordained to manifest. This power of inner knowing awaits your recognition. It requires no external permission, no validation from others. It asks only that you release the habit of requiring proof before certainty. Practice. The dialogue of knowing. Each morning engage in this sacred dialogue with yourself. What do I know with absolute certainty? Allow your inner voice to respond not with hopes or wishes, but with statements of pure knowing. I know this is already mine.
I know this is already accomplished.
I know this is already done. Let each statement arise not from the mind that argues and doubts, but from the deeper self that knows. Speak these truths until you feel them resonate in every cell of your being. This is not an exercise in positive thinking. It is an alignment with the absolute knowing that precedes all manifestation. Chapter 10. The First Gate. Surrendering to the now and unlocking true power. In the silence between your desires lies a paradox that has confounded seekers for millennia. The more desperately you grasp at what you want, the more it eludes your reach. This truth echoes through the ages. Only through surrender does true power emerge. You have been taught that manifestation requires effort, visualization, affirmation, constant focus. Yet these very actions often create resistance, building invisible walls between you and your desires. The universe responds not to your striving, but to your state of being. When you release your grip on outcomes, when you surrender the need to control every detail, you align with the natural flow of creation. This is not passive resignation, but active allowing, a state of profound trust in the wisdom of the universal mind. In the mountains of Tibet, there lived a woman named Beatrice who spent years trying to force her dreams into reality. She meditated for hours, followed every spiritual practice she could find, and pushed herself toward enlightenment. Yet inner peace remained as distant as the stars above her monastery. One evening, exhausted from her endless seeking, she sat beside a stream and simply stopped. She stopped trying. She stopped seeking. She stopped forcing. In that moment of complete surrender, something shifted within her. The peace she had chased for so long flooded through her being. What Beatrice discovered was not a technique, but a truth. The universe already holds everything you desire. Your role is not to create it, but to allow it to emerge through you. When you surrender your need to control the process, you become a clear channel through which abundance naturally flows. Practice the breath of surrender. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Sit comfortably with your spine straight but relaxed. Close your eyes and bring your awareness to your breath. As you inhale, feel yourself gathering all your desires, all your efforts, all your striving. As you exhale, release them completely into the care of the universe. With each breath, deepen this surrender. Inhale acceptance, exhale control. Continue this rhythm for several minutes, feeling yourself becoming lighter with each release. Let your breath become a prayer of trust, a declaration that you are willing to receive in ways beyond your current understanding. This practice, when done regularly, dissolves the barriers of resistance and opens you to receive the abundance that has always been yours. Like water wearing away stone, each moment of surrender creates pathways for divine grace to flow into your life. The universe has been waiting to shower you with its infinite gifts, waiting only for you to let go of the illusion of control and embrace the wisdom of trust. As you make this practice part of your daily ritual, you will find yourself naturally aligning with the eternal flow of universal abundance. Part 2, The Sacred Path of Creation. Chapter 11, Thought is the Shadow. Your state is the cause. In the silent chambers of your mind, a battle rages. Like Edward, you may find yourself caught in an endless cycle of thought policing, believing that a single negative thought could unravel all your manifestations. Yet this vigilance, this constant monitoring of your mental landscape, creates the very resistance it seeks to prevent. The ancient masters knew a truth that modern teachings have obscured. Thoughts are not the cause, but the effect. They flow naturally from your state of being, like water from a spring. When you attempt to control them, you create turbulence in the stream of creation. Consider the difference between trying to think wealthy thoughts and simply being wealthy in consciousness. One requires constant effort, while the other flows naturally from an established state. Your thoughts will always align with your dominant state of being, making any attempt to control them ultimately futile. In the bustling streets of London, Judith spent years trapped in this mental prison. Each morning, she would scrutinize her thoughts, attempting to catch and correct any trace of negativity. Despite her vigilance, her desired life remained elusive. It wasn't until she discovered an old manuscript that spoke of the natural state that everything changed. The manuscript taught that thoughts were like leaves floating on a river. Attempting to control each one was not only exhausting but impossible. Instead, Judith learned to focus on the source, her state of being. She stopped fighting her thoughts and simply dwelled in the feeling of her desired reality. As she relaxed into this new understanding, something remarkable occurred. Her thoughts naturally aligned with her chosen state without effort. What she had struggled to achieve through force came effortlessly through being. This truth liberates you from the exhausting task of thought control. Your role is not to police your thoughts, but to establish yourself firmly in the state of your desire. From this state, aligned thoughts flow naturally like music from an instrument that's perfectly tuned. The inner state awareness practice. Throughout your day, pause at regular intervals. Instead of examining your thoughts, notice your state of being. How does it feel to be you at this moment? Don't judge or try to change anything. Simply observe the state from which your thoughts are emerging. Notice how your thoughts naturally reflect this inner state, like shadows following form. Keep a small notebook with you. When you pause, record your dominant state and the thoughts that naturally arise from it. You'll begin to see the direct correlation between your state of being and the thoughts that flow from it. This practice reveals the true order of creation. Being precedes thinking, which precedes manifestation. Your thoughts are not the cause of your reality. They are the effect of your state. Chapter 12. Identity Shifting, the Art of Becoming Your Future Self. In the ancient scrolls of wisdom, a truth lies hidden. You cannot chase what you truly are. Like Samuel, you may have spent countless hours pursuing external changes, believing that once circumstances align, your desired life will begin. This pursuit keeps you forever separated from your dreams, for it reinforces the very gap you seek to bridge. The universe operates through resonance, not pursuit. Your current reality, every detail of your experience, perfectly matches who you believe yourself to be. This is not a judgment, but a mirror, reflecting back your deepest self-concept with unwavering precision. Identity shifting transcends the realm of doing and enters the sacred space of being. It is not about adding new behaviors or forcing change, but about stepping into the consciousness of your desired self. When you shift who you are at the core, the external world must reshape itself to match this new frequency. In a quiet village among rolling hills, Grace lived a life of constant striving. Each day she would write her goals, recite her affirmations, and take endless action toward success. Yet something remained missing. One evening, while reading an ancient text, she encountered these words: "To have, you must first become." These words stirred something deep within her. Rather than continuing her external efforts, Grace began a different practice. Each morning, she would sit in silence, allowing herself to feel the natural dignity and quiet confidence of someone who had already achieved her dreams. She stopped trying to become successful and simply embodied success itself. Gradually, without forcing or seeking, her external world began to shift. Opportunities appeared effortlessly, relationships transformed, and circumstances aligned, not because she had attracted them, but because they were natural expressions of who she had become. The mirror practice. Stand before a mirror at sunrise and sunset. Look deeply into your own eyes beyond the surface reflection. Allow yourself to feel the presence of your future self, not as a distant possibility, but as who you are now. Notice how this version of you carries themselves, how they breathe, how they meet their own gaze. Let this state of being infuse every cell of your body. Do not speak or affirm, simply be. Maintain this practice for several minutes, allowing your new identity to settle into your bones. This is not an exercise in imagination, but a recognition of what already exists within you. Remember, the mirror reflects not just your physical form, but your state of consciousness. As you consistently embody your desired state of being, you will witness the outer world reshaping itself to match who you have become. Chapter 13. The Scholar's Ritual, Living Your Dream Before It Arrives. In the depths of ancient wisdom lies a truth so powerful, it transforms the very fabric of reality. Celebration precedes manifestation. You need not wait for external proof to embrace your desired state. The universe responds not to patience but to presence. George exemplified the common misconception that validation must come from without. Each morning he would examine his bank account, waiting for the numbers to change before allowing himself to feel successful. He lived in perpetual anticipation, always postponing his joy until circumstances matched his desires. The scholar's ritual reveals a deeper truth. The external world follows the internal. When you fully inhabit the feeling of your desire now, reality has no choice but to conform. This is not pretense or imagination. It is stepping into the absolute knowing that transcends physical evidence. In a distant marketplace, Mary discovered this wisdom through an unexpected encounter. A mysterious merchant handed her a weathered scroll containing the scholar's ritual. The scroll spoke of an ancient practice: to live each moment as if your desires were already fulfilled. not in fantasy, but in absolute certainty. Mary began practicing this ritual daily. Each morning she would sit in perfect stillness, allowing herself to feel the natural state of having everything she desired. She walked differently, spoke differently, breathed differently, not from effort, but from knowing. She stopped looking for signs of change and instead became the change itself. Within weeks, her reality began shifting. Opportunities emerged, relationships transformed, and circumstances aligned, not because she had attracted them, but because she had already become them in consciousness. The scholar's ritual: find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths. Allow yourself to settle into the absolute knowing that your desire is already fulfilled. Feel the natural way you would move, speak, and interact with others from this state of completion. Notice how your breath flows, how your body carries itself, how your heart beats in perfect alignment with this truth. Spend 10 minutes fully inhabiting this state, letting go of all effort or striving. Simply be who you already are. This is not mere visualization or recitation of affirmations. It is the complete embodiment of your deepest truth. Through this practice, you transcend the illusion of separation between desire and fulfillment, merging with the reality you seek to manifest. Practice this ritual daily, letting your entire being resonate with this sacred knowing, and watch as the external world naturally and effortlessly reshapes itself to match your inner state of being. The universe cannot help but reflect back to you that which you have already claimed as your own. Chapter 14. The 2 Doors of Time, Choosing Your Reality Now. In the timeless scrolls of wisdom there exists a truth that shatters the illusion of sequential manifestation. You have been taught to wait, to expect your desires to unfold gradually across the linear path of time. Yet this teaching keeps you bound to a reality that exists only in your limited perception. Thomas spent countless hours plotting his path to success on elaborate timelines. He created detailed plans, set milestone dates, and waited patiently for his future to arrive. But time after time, his carefully laid plans led only to more waiting, more hoping, more yearning for a future that seemed eternally distant. The truth that masters have known through the ages is this: all possible versions of you exist simultaneously. There is no waiting, no journey, no path to traverse. There is only choosing which version of yourself you step into now. Picture a grand hallway filled with infinite doors. Behind each door exists a complete version of you, one who has already achieved, already become, already experienced everything you desire. These versions are not future possibilities, they are present realities waiting for your recognition. Eleanor discovered this truth during a moment of profound insight. After years of pursuing her dreams through careful planning and patient waiting, she encountered an ancient meditation technique. This technique spoke not of future achievement but of present selection. One evening, while practicing this meditation, Eleanor saw herself standing before a door. Through its translucent surface, she glimpsed the version of herself she had always dreamed of becoming. But unlike before, she didn't see this self as a future possibility. Instead, she recognized it as an existing reality, as real and present as her breath. Without hesitation, Eleanor stepped through that door. In that moment, she abandoned the self that was waiting and became the self that already was. Her transformation wasn't gradual, it was immediate. Her posture changed, her voice carried new authority, her decisions flowed from a place of completion rather than seeking. The universe responds not to your patient waiting, but to your present being. When you step through the door of your chosen reality, you align with a version of yourself that already exists in the infinite field of possibility. The door of now practice. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. See before you a door of light. Through its surface, Observe the version of you who has already embodied your desires. Feel their presence, their certainty, their completion. Now, with unwavering intent, step through this door. Feel the immediate shift in your being as you merge with this realized version of yourself. Open your eyes and carry this knowing with you, for you have not changed. You have simply recognized who you already are. Chapter 15. The Science of Certainty. How to make your desire inevitable. In the depths of every heart lies a power greater than any external force, the power of absolute certainty. You have been taught to seek proof before believing, to require evidence before committing. Yet this approach keeps manifestation forever beyond your reach. Jonathan exemplified this struggle. Each morning he would wake to check if his manifestations had appeared, his faith rising and falling with external circumstances. He practiced visualization, repeated affirmations, yet doubt lingered like a shadow, undermining every effort. "How can I believe," he would ask, "when I see no signs of change?" But certainty does not follow evidence. It precedes it. The universe responds not to hope or wishful thinking, but to the unwavering knowing that exists beyond the realm of physical proof. This knowledge is not built on external validation. It emanates from the core of your being. Florence discovered this truth through an unexpected challenge. When her business faced imminent closure, instead of succumbing to fear, she made a remarkable choice. She began operating from a state of absolute certainty, not hoping her business would survive, but knowing it already had. She walked through her empty store as if it were filled with customers. She made decisions not from desperation, but from success. She spoke not with hope, but with certainty. To those around her, nothing had changed. But Florence had shifted into a state of knowing so complete that external circumstances became irrelevant. She did not need proof because she had touched something deeper than evidence. She had accessed the realm where all possibilities already exist. Within weeks, her reality began conforming to her inner certainty. New opportunities emerged, unexpected solutions appeared, and her business transformed. But the true miracle wasn't the external change. It was her unshakable knowing that preceded it. The power of certainty practice. Choose one desire that you've been uncertain about. For the next 24 hours, step fully into absolute knowing. Act, speak, and move as if your desire is already fulfilled. When doubt arises, remember, you are not trying to convince yourself of something false. You are aligning with what already is. Let your certainty be so complete that external proof becomes unnecessary. For these 24 hours, abandon all need for evidence and dwell in pure knowing. The power to manifest lies not in hoping but in knowing, not in seeking proof but in being the proof. When you touch this level of certainty, reality has no choice but to conform to your knowing, for you have aligned with the very force that shapes existence itself. Chapter 16. The Alchemy of Action and Stillness. When to move, when to wait. In the realm of manifestation, there exists a delicate dance between action and stillness, movement and rest. You have been conditioned to believe that creation requires constant doing, endless striving. Yet true power lies in knowing when to move and when to remain still. Matthew embodied this common struggle. Each morning brought a torrent of anxious energy, compelling him to take action, any action, to make his dreams real. He would send countless emails, make impulsive decisions, chase every opportunity that crossed his path. When this frantic activity yielded no results, he would retreat into paralysis, frozen by fear of making the wrong move. The universe speaks in whispers, not shouts. It guides through gentle nudges, through that quiet voice within. that knows the perfect timing of all things. Your role is not to force the river's flow, but to align with its natural current. Abigail discovered this truth during a period of great uncertainty. Having lost her position at a prestigious firm, she faced mounting pressure to immediately secure new employment. Her friends urged her to apply everywhere, to take any position available, but something within her counseled patience. Instead of rushing to action, she began each morning in silence. She learned to distinguish between the urgent voice of fear and the quiet certainty of inner knowing. When opportunities arose, she would pause and listen deeply, not to her thoughts, but to the wisdom that resided beneath them. One morning, while in this state of receptive stillness, she felt a clear impulse to visit a small cafe she had never noticed before. There, through a seemingly chance encounter, she met someone who would later become her business partner. The opportunity that emerged was far greater than anything she could have planned or forced into being. This is the art of inspired action, moving not from compulsion or fear, but from alignment with the deeper currents of life. When you learn to listen, to truly listen, you will know exactly when to step forward and when to remain still. Practice. The inner compass exercise. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and bring to mind a decision you're currently facing. Rather than analyzing pros and cons, sink beneath your thoughts into the space of pure feeling. Notice any tension or resistance in your body. This often signals forcing rather than flowing. Now imagine taking different paths of action. Pay attention to how each possibility feels in your body. A genuine yes creates a sensation of expansion, lightness, and clarity. Practice this daily, and you will develop an unwavering trust in your inner guidance system. Chapter 17. Your subconscious is always listening. How to speak its language. In the depths of your mind lies a faithful servant, recording every whisper of your being. Your subconscious mind never sleeps, never rests, and most importantly, never judges. It simply accepts and creates according to the seeds you plant within it. David spent years studying manifestation techniques, believing his subconscious mind only activated during his dedicated visualization sessions. He would sit in meditation each morning, carefully crafting positive thoughts, yet his reality remained unchanged. What he failed to understand was that his subconscious had been listening all along, not just during his practice sessions, but in every moment of doubt, every fleeting worry, every casual assumption about life's difficulties. The subconscious speaks the language of feeling and repetition. It does not distinguish between what you consciously desire and what you unconsciously accept as true. Every passing emotion, every habitual thought pattern, every subtle reaction to daily events. These are the real programming that shapes your reality. Louise discovered this truth through an unexpected revelation. Despite her outward success as a business consultant, she found herself repeatedly encountering the same obstacles. Client projects would start brilliantly but inevitably face complications. Relationships would begin with promise but always ended in disappointment. One evening, while reviewing her journal, she noticed a pattern in her inner dialogue. Things always get complicated in the end. This simple phrase, which she had carelessly repeated to herself countless times, had become a command to her subconscious mind. Without realizing it, she had programmed herself for eventual failure. Understanding dawned. Her subconscious had been faithfully creating exactly what she had unknowingly instructed it to create. With this awareness, Louise began speaking a new language to her inner mind. Instead of casual complaints, she chose deliberate statements of truth. Rather than bracing for complications, she assumed smooth completion as her natural state. Within weeks, her projects began flowing with unexpected ease. Relationships deepened without the familiar pattern of disruption. She had not changed her external actions, she had simply reprogrammed the faithful servant within. Practice. The Nighttime Reprogramming Ritual. As you prepare for sleep each night, your mind naturally enters a receptive state. This is the perfect moment to plant new seeds in your subconscious garden. Lie comfortably and repeat this statement with quiet certainty. I am state your desired identity. This is my natural state of being. Feel the truth of these words in your body. Let them sink deeply into your mind as you drift into sleep, knowing that your subconscious will work through the night to align your reality with this new truth. Chapter 18. The Scholar's Eye, Seeing Beyond the Illusion of the Physical World. In the world of appearances, most remain trapped by what their eyes perceive. Yet those who have awakened to deeper truths understand that physical reality is but an echo of past states of consciousness. Joseph stood before his empty bank account, his heart sinking at the numbers displayed on the screen. Each day, he would check his balance, react with worry, and unconsciously cement that same reality into his future. The physical circumstances seemed so solid, so unchangeable, that he never questioned their permanence. Yet in doing so, he missed the most crucial truth. What appears in the physical world is not a present reality but a shadow of what was once held in consciousness. The physical world, in all its seeming solidity, is nothing more than crystallized consciousness. Every circumstance you face today was born from a state you once occupied. Your current reality is not creating your state of being created your current reality. Anne discovered this truth during her darkest hour. Her business was failing, her debts mounting, and every external sign pointed to inevitable bankruptcy. But rather than fixating on these circumstances, she made a radical decision. She would look past the physical evidence with what the ancients called the scholar's eye, the ability to see the unseen reality taking shape beneath the surface of things. Each morning, as bills piled up on her desk, she would close her physical eyes and open her inner vision to see the truth. Abundance was her natural state. When clients canceled, she saw beyond the empty calendar to the truth of her flourishing enterprise. She refused to let external circumstances dictate her inner knowledge. At first, nothing seemed to change. The bills remained, the clients stayed away. But Anne had learned the secret of true manifestation. She knew that reacting to current circumstances only perpetuates them. Instead, she held steadfast to her inner vision, knowing that the physical world had no choice but to eventually reflect her new state of consciousness. Gradually, subtle shifts began to occur. A random conversation led to an unexpected opportunity. A former client returned with a larger project. What appeared to be coincidences were actually the physical world reorganizing itself to match her maintained state of consciousness. The scholar's eye sees through the illusion of fixed reality. It perceives the fluid nature of existence, where circumstances are not solid facts, but malleable reflections of consciousness. This vision requires patience, for the physical world may take time to reflect your new state. But those who master this art of seeing beyond appearances hold the key to deliberate creation. Practice. The mirror of truth. Each day, set aside 10 minutes to practice seeing beyond current circumstances. Sit quietly and close your physical eyes. Whatever situation you wish to transform, see it clearly in your mind. Now, consciously look past the apparent reality to the truth you wish to establish. Feel the reality of your desire as if it were already manifest. Hold this vision with unwavering focus, knowing that what you see with your inner eye must eventually reflect in your outer world. This is not imagination, it is seeing reality at its source before it crystallizes into physical form. Chapter 19. The Pathless Path, Detaching from the How and Walking in Faith. In the depths of ancient wisdom lies a truth so simple, yet so challenging for the modern mind to embrace. The path to manifestation requires no path at all. Elizabeth spent countless hours planning every detail of her desired future. She created elaborate strategies, mapped out precise timelines, and exhausted herself trying to control every variable. Like many, she believed that manifestation required her constant involvement, her tireless effort to make things happen, yet the more she tried to force outcomes, the more elusive they became. The universe operates through infinite intelligence, orchestrating events through channels your human mind cannot conceive. When you attempt to dictate the exact manner in which your desires must manifest, you limit yourself to the narrow confines of your current understanding. True power lies in releasing your grip on the how. You need not know the path, you need not orchestrate the steps. Your role is simply to hold the end in mind while releasing attachment to the means. This is the pathless path, the way of allowing rather than forcing, of trusting rather than controlling. Henry discovered this truth during his quest for financial freedom. For years he had pursued his goal through conventional means, applying for countless positions at prestigious firms, networking at every opportunity, following all the traditional advice. Yet success remained out of reach. One day, exhausted from his endless striving, he surrendered. He let go of his rigid expectations about how his wealth must come. He stopped forcing connections, and instead trusted that the right opportunities would find him. Within weeks, a chance encounter led him to an unexpected venture, one he never would have considered in his carefully planned approach. The practice. The surrender meditation. Find a quiet space and close your eyes. Breathe deeply and feel the weight of control dissolving from your shoulders. With each exhale, release your grip on the how. Silently affirm, I need not know the way. My desires are already handled by an intelligence far greater than my own. I trust in perfect unfolding. Remain in this state of trust for several minutes, allowing yourself to feel the peace of complete surrender. Remember, the universe's ways are infinite, far beyond the limited scope of human understanding. Your task is not to figure it all out, but to trust and allow the divine intelligence to work through you and for you. Release your grip on the steering wheel of life. Loosen those fingers that desperately try to control every outcome, and watch as miracles unfold through unexpected channels. The greatest manifestations often arrive through doorways you never knew existed, guided by a wisdom that sees the complete tapestry of existence while you glimpse but a single thread. Chapter 20. The Scholar's Second Gate, the identity shift that changes everything. In the ancient temples there existed a sacred threshold known as the Second Gate. Those who crossed it never returned the same. This gateway represents more than mere change. It marks the death of an old identity and the birth of a new being. Charles embodied this eternal truth. For years he lived in the shadow realm between what was and what could be. His dreams called to him, yet he clung to familiar shores, never fully committing to the journey ahead. Like many, he tested the waters of transformation while keeping one foot anchored in his former life. The universe responds not to half measures but to absolute knowing. When you stand between two worlds, you inhabit neither fully. Your power lies dormant, waiting for the moment of complete surrender to your new identity. Through the mists of time comes the tale of Margaret, a woman who faced this very threshold. She had achieved moderate success in her endeavors, yet something held her back from true greatness. One night, in a moment of crystal clarity, she understood. Her old self, cautious, uncertain, bound by past limitations, could not coexist with the woman she was meant to become. In a ritual as old as time itself, Margaret stood before her mirror at midnight. She spoke not with her lips but with her entire being. I release who I was. I step fully into who I am. The shift was subtle, yet absolute. When she opened her eyes, the woman who had lived in half measures was gone. In her place stood someone who knew, with unshakable certainty, that she was already everything she had dreamed of becoming. The practice, the identity release ritual, stand before a mirror in complete solitude, preferably at the threshold hour of midnight, when the veils between what was and what could be are thinnest. Light a single candle, representing the eternal flame of transformation that has guided seekers through the ages. Center yourself with 3 deep breaths, allowing each exhale to carry away the weight of past limitations. Speak these words with the full force of your being, letting them resonate from the depths of your soul. I speak your name, release all that I was. I step into all that I am. Feel the old self dissolving like morning mist in the sun, making way for your true identity to emerge in its full radiance. Let the mirror reflect back to you this newly awakened self, seeing in your own eyes the power that has always resided within. When you feel the shift complete, blow out the candle with purposeful intent, marking the death of the old and the birth of the new. In this sacred moment of transformation, you have participated in an ancient rite of becoming. Part 3, Mastery of the Scholar's Key. Chapter 21, The Law Within the Law, the Supreme Secret of Creation. In the depths of ancient wisdom lies a truth so simple, yet so easily overlooked. You have been taught to attract, to draw things toward you, but this very perspective keeps you separate from what you desire. The law of attraction, while true, is merely a shadow of something far more fundamental. Henry had mastered all the techniques. His vision board was perfect, his affirmations precise, his meditation practice unwavering. Yet something remained missing, a gap between his practice and his reality that no amount of effort could bridge. The higher law reveals itself not through seeking but through recognition. It states, nothing can be attracted because nothing is separate from you. What appears as manifestation is merely the revelation of what already exists within your consciousness. Think of a wave trying to attract the ocean. The very attempt reveals its misunderstanding of its own nature. The wave is the ocean, expressing itself in temporary form. Similarly, your desires are not external things to be attracted. They are expressions of what you already are, waiting to be recognized. Vivian discovered this truth unexpectedly. After years of spiritual practice, she sat one morning in her garden, exhausted from trying. In that moment of complete surrender, something shifted. She saw with perfect clarity that everything she had been seeking was already present within her consciousness. Her financial abundance, her ideal relationship, her dream home, all existed now, not as future possibilities, but as present realities waiting to be acknowledged. The moment she stopped trying to attract and simply recognized what was already hers, her external world transformed as naturally as dawn follows night. Within weeks, opportunities appeared, relationships transformed, and circumstances aligned, not because she had finally attracted them, but because she had recognized their eternal presence within her. The ancient practice of recognition. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. Instead of visualizing what you want to attract, sink into the knowing that everything, all possibilities, all desires, all potential experiences, exists now within your consciousness. Feel the completeness of your being. Notice how your desires are not distant dreams but aspects of yourself waiting to be expressed. Sit with this truth until you feel the shift from seeking to knowing. Remember, you are not attracting anything new. You are simply allowing what already exists within you to express itself in form. Every dream, every desire, every possibility already resides in the infinite field of your consciousness. Like a seed that contains the full pattern of the mighty oak tree, your being holds the complete blueprint of all you wish to experience. When you understand this profound truth, Manifestation becomes not a process of reaching outward, but of awakening to what eternally dwells within. Chapter 22. The Paradox of Effortless Intensity. The Secret to Manifesting Instantly. In the mountains of Tibet there lived a sage who neither strived nor waited. Those who watched him saw a peculiar paradox. He moved through life with both perfect peace and unwavering intention. When asked his secret, he simply smiled and continued his practice. You stand now at this same crossroads. The path before you appears to split in two directions, one of determined action, the other of complete surrender. Yet this division exists only in the mind. Robert embodied this confusion. Each morning he would alternate between forcefully visualizing his desires and attempting to let go completely. His results remained inconsistent, his energy scattered between these opposing approaches. The truth eluded him because he saw them as separate paths. The mastery you seek lies in the marriage of these apparent opposites. It is the stability of the mountain combined with the flow of the river. This state requires no effort, yet holds absolute clarity. It demands no force, yet maintains perfect focus. Dorothy discovered this truth through an unexpected encounter. During a moment of complete frustration with her manifestation practice, she witnessed a master artist at work. The artist's brush moved with both absolute precision and total ease. There was no separation between intention and surrender. At that moment, Dorothy understood. She stopped trying to either make things happen or let them happen. Instead, she simply lived from the end, maintaining unwavering knowledge while remaining completely at peace. Within days, her reality began shifting. Opportunities appeared without search, circumstances aligned without effort. She had found the secret: to hold your desire with the certainty of breathing, requiring neither force nor abandonment. Sacred practice, the breath of paradox. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed and sit comfortably with your spine straight but relaxed. As you inhale, feel the absolute certainty of your desire, not as something to achieve, but as something that already is, as natural and inevitable as the sunrise. As you exhale, release all effort and striving, letting go of any tension or need to control. Continue this sacred rhythm, certainty on the inhale, flowing like golden light through your being. Surrender on the exhale, melting into divine trust. Let each breath unite these seeming opposites until they become one movement, one truth, just as day and night are different expressions of the same eternal cycle. Practice this for 7 breaths whenever you feel pulled toward either extreme of forcing or waiting, allowing the wisdom of your breath to restore you to perfect balance between power and peace. Chapter 23. The Scholar's Shift, when reality finally catches up to you. In the depths of ancient wisdom lies a truth so simple yet so elusive. You need not chase, convince, or persuade reality to match your desires. When you truly understand this principle, you will see that reality has no choice but to conform to your inner state. John exemplified the common struggle. His dedication to practice was admirable. He followed every technique, maintained his visualizations, and persisted with unwavering discipline. Yet his external world seemed resistant to change. What he failed to grasp was that all his effort, though well-intentioned, reinforced the very gap he sought to bridge. The shift occurs not through doing but through being. When you fully occupy a state, the external world must, by universal law, reorganize itself to match your inner reality. This is not a matter of belief or hope, but of absolute cosmic necessity. Beatrice discovered this truth during a mundane morning. After years of striving, she simply sat in her garden and made a decision. She would no longer try to become successful. She would simply be successful. In that moment, something profound shifted within her. She stopped looking for signs of change. She ceased measuring progress. She abandoned the need for external validation. She simply knew. Within days, her phone began ringing with opportunities. People she hadn't heard from in years suddenly appeared with perfect alignments for her vision. Yet Beatrice remained unmoved by these manifestations, not out of indifference, but because she had already claimed her success internally. The external changes were merely catching up to what she had already become. This is the final key: to hold your state with such unwavering certainty that external circumstances become irrelevant. You need not convince yourself or others. You need not gather evidence. You need only be. Practice the state of being. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. Now, instead of imagining your desire, step fully into the state of already having it. Feel the natural confidence, the ease, the certainty that comes with possession. Notice how this state requires no effort. It simply is. Remain here for 10 minutes, allowing any thoughts about when or how to pass by without engagement. You are not waiting for anything to happen. You are simply being what you already are. This practice is not about convincing yourself. It is about occupying the state so completely that the external world has no choice but to reflect it back to you. Do this daily, not as a technique to get something, but as an expression of what already is. Chapter 24, The Great Illusion: Why Reality is a Mirage. In the morning light of your familiar world, everything appears solid, fixed, and unchangeable. The walls around you, the circumstances of your life, the balance in your bank account, all seem to possess a permanence that demands your acceptance. Yet this apparent solidity is the greatest illusion, a misunderstanding that has kept you bound to past creations. Long ago, the wise understood that physical reality is but a shadow of inner states, a projection of what you once held as truth within. Your senses, trustworthy as they may seem, show you only echoes of previous beliefs, assumptions, and expectations. They reveal not what is, but what was. William stood before his mirror each morning, reflecting back the story he had accepted as truth. A struggling artist, barely making ends meet. His bank statements confirmed this reality, his empty calendar reinforced it, and his worn shoes testified to its truth. But one day, he encountered an ancient teaching that shook his world. Your senses show you only what your past self believed to be true. This revelation changed everything. Instead of accepting what his eyes showed him, William began to question the authority of his senses. He understood that reacting to current circumstances only anchored them more firmly in place. With this knowledge, he began to see his physical reality as fluid, as malleable as clay in the hands of consciousness. Eleanor faced a similar awakening. Her business was failing, her debts mounting. Every morning brought new evidence of impending collapse. But rather than react to these appearances, she made a radical choice. She refused to accept them as final reality. When bills arrived, she saw them not as solid facts, but as passing shadows. When clients canceled, she maintained her inner certainty of abundance. At first, nothing seemed to change. The physical world continued its apparent descent. But Eleanor held firm, knowing that what she saw was merely the momentum of past states playing out. She maintained her position of inner wealth, refusing to be moved by external evidence. Then, subtly at first, reality began to shift. An unexpected opportunity emerged. A forgotten investment matured. New clients appeared, seemingly from nowhere. The very circumstances that had appeared so solid began to dissolve and reform according to her maintained state. Practice the mirror of fluidity. Each morning, stand before a mirror. Look at your reflection and understand that what you see is not the present moment, but a reflection of past states. Now, close your eyes and feel your desired state as real. Open your eyes and see through the current appearance, knowing it is as temporary as a reflection on water. Hold this awareness throughout your day, seeing all circumstances as fluid projections rather than solid facts. When evidence appears that contradicts your desired state, smile knowing you are seeing only shadows of what once was, not what must be. Chapter 25, Delays and Obstacles, How the Universe Recalibrates in Your Favor. In the depths of ancient wisdom lies a truth that few have grasped. What appears as an obstacle is often the very path to your greatest triumph. The universe speaks not through gentle whispers alone, but through what seems like resistance, redirection, and apparent defeat. You have been taught to fear obstacles, to see them as signs that you have strayed from your path. Yet these very blockages are sacred markers, precise adjustments from the infinite intelligence that guides all things. When doors close, when plans crumble, when your carefully crafted future seems to dissolve, these are not failures, but divine recalibrations. Joseph built his dream business for 5 years, pouring his essence into every detail. Then, in what seemed like cruel timing, everything fell apart. His main investor withdrew, his location fell through, and his team disbanded. He saw these events as clear signs of failure, proof that his vision was flawed. For months he carried the weight of defeat, until a chance encounter changed everything. Through a wrong turn on his way home, he stumbled upon an abandoned building in a different part of town. This location, though nothing like his original plan, possessed something his first choice lacked. It sat at the intersection of 3 busy streets with twice the foot traffic he would have had before. The delayed timing allowed him to secure it at half the previous market rate, and the loss of his original team led him to discover partners whose vision aligned more perfectly with his own. Clara's story mirrors this truth with even greater clarity. A celebrated pianist, she lost the use of her right hand in an accident. The doctors spoke of permanent nerve damage, and the world she had known, the concerts, the recordings, the very identity she had crafted, shattered completely. In her darkest moments, she cursed what seemed like the end of everything. Yet in the silence of her recovery, something stirred. Unable to play as before, she began composing with her left hand alone. This limitation forced her to explore depths of music she had never known existed. Her compositions, born from what seemed like loss, touched people in ways her previous performances never had. What appeared as the death of her dream became the birth of something far greater. Practice. The mirror of transformation. Take your journal and write about a moment when life seemed to block your path completely. Describe the emotions you felt, the apparent loss or failure. Then, with the wisdom of hindsight or the eye of faith, examine how this obstacle served as a gateway to something better. What doors did it open? What growth did it inspire? What greater path did it reveal? Write until you feel a shift in your perspective, until what once seemed like a wall becomes a bridge to your higher good. Let this exercise remind you that the universe's no is often a prelude to a greater yes. Chapter 26, The Leap Beyond Time, Why the Future Exists Now. In the eternal now, all versions of you exist simultaneously. The version who has already achieved everything you desire is not a future possibility. It is a present reality, waiting for you to step into its consciousness. Margaret's story exemplifies the common misunderstanding that plagues those who grasp at manifestation. Each morning, she would gaze at her vision board, imagining a future where her dreams would materialize. One day, she would whisper, unknowingly pushing her desires further into an illusory tomorrow. But the universe does not operate in linear time. It responds to states of being. The truth that transforms mere wishing into instant manifestation is this: your desired reality already exists. It is not something to be created, but a state to be entered. When you understand this principle, manifestation becomes as natural as walking through a doorway. Consider Walter, a humble shopkeeper who discovered this truth through an unexpected encounter with an ancient manuscript. The text spoke of reality as a vast mansion with infinite rooms, each containing a different version of one's life. Instead of working to create success, Walter began living as though he already inhabited the room of abundance. He stopped speaking of his business plans in future tense. He carried himself with the quiet confidence of someone who had already achieved greatness. When making decisions, he asked himself, "What would the successful version of me do?" He didn't pretend or affirm. He simply lived from that state of being. Within weeks, opportunities began appearing that had always been there but remained invisible to his previous state of consciousness. A wealthy investor who had been shopping at his store for years suddenly proposed a partnership. A prime location became available at exactly the right moment. His small shop transformed into a thriving enterprise, not through external effort, but through his shift in state. The key lies not in moving through time to reach your desires, but in shifting your consciousness to align with the version of you who already has them. This is not visualization or positive thinking. It is the art of stepping into an existing reality. The scholar's timeline exercise. Sit in perfect stillness and close your eyes. Feel the weight of your body dissolve until you exist purely as consciousness. Now imagine infinite versions of your life extending in all directions, not as future possibilities, but as present realities. Find the version where everything you desire already exists. Don't reach for it, simply shift your awareness into that state of being. Feel how that version of you sits, breathes, thinks, and moves. Open your eyes and carry this state with you throughout your day, knowing that you haven't created anything new. You've simply stepped into what already is. Chapter 27. The Key That Unlocks Every Door. The Ultimate Manifestation Hack. In the depths of ancient wisdom lies a truth so simple yet so powerful that those who grasp it find their reality transforming almost instantly. You have learned of states, of assumption, of the invisible architecture that shapes your world. But there exists one final key, a master switch that, when activated, dissolves all resistance and allows creation to flow naturally. This key is not a technique or a practice. It is the recognition of a fundamental truth. You are already that which you seek to become. Not metaphorically, not potentially, but literally and presently. The gap between wanting and having exists only in the mind that believes in separation. Evelyn discovered this truth during a moment of profound stillness. For years, she had studied manifestation, applying countless techniques with varying success. One morning, while sipping her tea, a sudden realization washed over her. She had been trying to become something she already was. At that moment, she stopped all practices. She ceased all attempts to change or improve herself. Instead, she simply acknowledged the completeness of her being. When thoughts of lack arose, she didn't fight them. She simply remembered her true nature. When circumstances seemed contrary to her desires, she smiled, knowing they were merely shadows of old beliefs dissolving. Within days, her external reality began shifting. Opportunities appeared effortlessly, relationships transformed naturally, and abundance flowed without struggle. She hadn't changed anything externally. She had simply recognized her true nature. The ultimate key is this: stop becoming and recognize being. Your desired state is not something to achieve. It is your natural state, covered only by the illusion of separation. When you cease all effort to change yourself and simply acknowledge your inherent completeness, the universe must conform to this truth. The practice: sit quietly and speak this single truth. I am the source of all I seek. Let these words sink deeply into your being, not as an affirmation to be repeated, but as a recognition of what has always been true. This is not a practice to be done, it is an acknowledgement of what is. Chapter 28. The final test. Holding the vision when reality opposes it. The moment of your greatest triumph often disguises itself as failure. This truth echoes through the ages, whispered by those who have walked the path before you. Let us speak of Nathan, whose story mirrors the journey that awaits all who dare to transform their reality. Nathan had mastered the art of holding his vision. His inner world was aligned, his certainty unshakable, until the physical world seemed to crumble around him. The promotion he knew went to another. His savings, carefully cultivated, vanished at an unexpected expense. Every external sign pointed to failure. In such moments, the untrained mind retreats. It sees circumstances as truth, forgetting that they are merely echoes of past states. But there exists a deeper knowing, an unwavering certainty that transcends appearances. This is not about positive thinking or denial. It is about understanding the true nature of reality, that circumstances are fluid, changing, responding not to what is seen, but to what is known within. The physical world must reorganize itself to match your inner certainty, but first it often appears to challenge that certainty. Harriet faced this truth when building her business. After months of perfect alignment, of knowing her success was certain, everything collapsed. Her main client withdrew, her partner left, and her resources dwindled. The universe appeared to mock her faith. But Harriet understood something crucial. External reality was testing her conviction. Instead of reacting to circumstances, she doubled down on her inner knowing. When others spoke of backup plans, she smiled silently, knowing her vision was already fulfilled. When evidence suggested failure, she saw it as the old reality dissolving to make way for the new. 3 weeks later, her business transformed. The client who left was replaced by 3 better ones. Her former partner's departure created space for a more aligned collaboration. What seemed like an ending was merely a clearing of the path. The scholar's resilience practice. Each morning, stand before a mirror. Look into your own eyes and declare, I am unmoved by appearances. My vision is certain, my knowing absolute. What I see around me is a passing shadow. What I know within is eternal truth. Hold this gaze for 5 minutes, allowing all doubts and contrary evidence to dissolve in the light of your certainty. Do this especially when circumstances seem most opposed to your vision. This practice forges an unshakable foundation, teaching you to stand firm when the winds of circumstance blow strongest. For it is not in calm waters that mastery is proven, but in the storm. Chapter 29, The Last Gate, the Art of Knowing It Is Already Done. When you reach the final gate of mastery, you will recognize it not by what you see, but by what you feel. It is a subtle shift, yet more powerful than all the techniques and practices that came before. Thomas walked this path. He had spent years practicing visualization, affirmation, and every manifestation technique known. Yet his breakthrough came when he abandoned all practice. One morning he woke up and simply knew his desire was already fulfilled. Not as a future possibility, not as something to work toward, but as a present reality. This knowing transcends hope. Hope implies future fulfillment, but true mastery lives in the eternal now. You see, the universe responds not to what you wish for, but to what you accept as done. When you truly know something is yours, all waiting energy dissolves. There is nothing to attract, nothing to manifest, only a natural unfolding of what already is. The physical world may not yet show your desire, but that is irrelevant to the master. They have learned to trust the invisible reality more than the visible one. This is not denial. It is understanding that the physical world always follows the inner state, never the other way around. Charlotte discovered this truth during her darkest hour. Her business was failing, her relationships strained, and her future seemed uncertain. But instead of fighting these circumstances, she made a radical choice. She stepped fully into the feeling of already having everything she desired. She no longer checked her bank account obsessively or worried about future clients. She moved through her days with a quiet certainty that everything was already perfect. She didn't need to convince herself or others, she simply knew. Within weeks, her external reality began to shift. New opportunities appeared, relationships healed, and abundance flowed. But Charlotte barely noticed these changes. She had already accepted her success as real before any physical evidence appeared. This is the final gate. Complete acceptance of your desire is already fulfilled. No more waiting, no more hoping, no more seeking signs. You simply live from the state of it being done. Practice the final knowing. Sit quietly and close your eyes. Feel the absolute completion of your desire, not as something coming, but as something that is. Let every cell of your body relax into this knowing. Move through your day from this state, requiring no proof, seeking no confirmation. Your only task is to know it is done. For the next 7 days, live as though your desire is already fulfilled. Make decisions from this state, speak from this state, breathe from this state. If doubt arises, simply return to knowing. This is not a practice of becoming, it is a practice of being what already is. Chapter 30. Your divine inheritance, becoming the creator you were meant to be. In the depths of ancient wisdom lies a truth so simple yet so transformative that most overlook it entirely. You were never meant to be a seeker. The very act of seeking implies separation from what you desire. This eternal chase has kept you bound to the illusion that what you want exists somewhere outside of you. The power you seek has always resided within. Just as a wave is not separate from the ocean, you are not separate from the creative force that shapes reality. Every master who walked this path eventually arrived at this revelation. They were the source all along. Richard spent decades searching for signs, validation, and proof. He studied under teachers, attended seminars, and collected certificates, always believing that the next teaching would finally unlock his potential. Then one ordinary morning, while sipping his tea, a profound silence descended upon him. In that moment, he saw through the grand illusion. He had been looking everywhere, except the one place where all power resided, within himself. From that day forward, Richard stopped waiting for signs. He ceased asking for permission from the universe. He realized that as pure consciousness expressing itself in human form, he was the universe. His desires were not random wants, but the divine expressing itself through him. Within 3 months, everything in Richard's life transformed. His business flourished, relationships healed, and opportunities appeared as if by magic. But the greatest change was internal. He no longer needed external confirmation. He had found the ultimate truth. He was the creator of his reality. You stand now at this same threshold. The search ends here. No more techniques, no more waiting, no more seeking. It is time to claim your divine inheritance as a creator of reality. Practice the Creator's Declaration. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and place your hand over your heart. Speak these words with the full authority of your being. I now recognize and accept my true nature as a creator. I am not separate from the creative force of the universe. I am that force expressing itself through this form. I release all seeking energy, all need for validation, all waiting for signs. I stand in my power as the source of my reality. It is done. Repeat this declaration daily until it becomes your natural state of being. Remember, this is not an affirmation to manifest something. It is a recognition of what already is. Conclusion. Throughout these chapters, you have uncovered what mystics and sages have known since time immemorial. The power to shape reality lies not in methods or techniques, but in the essence of who you are. The journey you embarked upon was not one of learning, but of remembering. Each chapter served as a mirror, reflecting back to you what was always present within. You now understand that manifestation is not about attracting or creating something new. It is about stepping into the truth of your being. The universe does not respond to what you do. It responds to who you are. This knowledge transforms everything. No longer must you chase desires or manipulate circumstances. Your presence alone commands reality. The scholar's key was never a tool to be acquired, but a truth to be realized. It is the understanding that you are the source from which all creation springs. Your consciousness is the very substance from which reality is formed. This is why no technique could ever compare to the power of your being. As you close these chapters, know that you are not completing a book. You are emerging as the creator you have always been. The seeking ends here. The waiting ends here. The hoping ends here. What remains is pure knowing, pure being, pure creation. You now stand in your true position as the author of your reality. Your word is law. Your presence is power. Your being is creation itself. There is nothing left to learn, nothing left to acquire, nothing left to become. You are complete, whole, and sovereign. Let this moment mark the end of seeking and the beginning of knowing. You are the key you sought. You are the power you chased. You are the creator you wished to become. Now go forth and live from this truth, for in this lies the ultimate liberation. You were the answer all along. The scholar's key is not passed to you, it is recognized as you. Use this knowing wisely, for with it comes the responsibility of conscious creation. Your reality awaits your command, not through force, but through the natural authority of your being. If you enjoyed this exclusive audiobook, I handpicked this next book which will change your life.